You know, I really wanted to talk about the New York Knicks tonight. I really did. But the blasphemy that I have seen out of Pacers fans in the past 9 to 10 games has decided that this is a more important video to make than the New York Knicks video that I really wanted to talk about. RJ Barrett is shooting lights out from three. I mean, Mans is shooting 47% from three. I don't know what got into him, but he's got the strap from fucking three this year. But I heard some shit out of Pacers fans recently, not just one fan, but multiple fans, that I'm just like, I never thought I would hear someone say defense doesn't matter ever in my fucking 13 years of being a Pacers fan. I never, ever, for the past like 4 or 5 years, everyone's been, the defense is terrible, the defense is terrible, defense fucking terrible, you need some fucking defense. So what do? We take care of that in the offseason. We sign Bruce Brown, we draft Jarris Walker, we re-signed Eric Nesmith to start the season. We still have Miles, we still have TJ McConnell. And suddenly, because we're scoring 126 points per game, okay, and giving up 124, suddenly defense doesn't matter. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people who say, like, will post or like, I'm a part of Pacers Nation, or True Indiana Pacers Fans, a group on Facebook, and I've seen people make posts say, defense is concerning. The defense is concerning. I never in my fucking life thought I'd ever see Pacers fans go, oh, the offense will take care of it. The offense will take care of it. It's all right. I mean, fuck the defense. You know, fuck the idea that Giannis scored 54 on us against the Bucks, and then the very next game, Tyrese Maxey scores 50. The first time since anyone in a 76ers uniform has done that since fucking Allen Iverson. Okay? But that's okay. Oh, and by the way, you lost by 51 points to the Boston Celtics, which is like, what, the second most in team history? Yeah, that's fine. The offense will take care of itself. In what fucking world? In what world? We're giving up, bro, we gave up 87 points between Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey last night. Now, I'm just going to call it what it is, all right? I know a lot of you are going to expect me to blame Miles Turner, but I'm not. Miles Turner actually had a solid game. Miles Turner put up 22 and 8 against Joel Embiid, which is far better than I expected him to put up. I actually picked the under on my parlay for Miles Turner and points scored, okay? Because he was playing against Joel Embiid and has never really, he struggles to score 10 points against Joel Embiid. He put up 22.8 last night. Miles Turner actually fucked up my parlay last night by playing better than I expected him to, because historically, Joel Embiid has been working that ass down in the paint for the past fucking 4 or 5 years, okay? So the idea that Miles Turner put up 22 and 8, I think deserves a golf clap, okay? I'm just going to call it what it is. I think it deserves a golf clap, because him and Tyrese Halliburton were like the only players that showed up to play for the Pacers last night. And I'm just going to call it what it is. Benedict Mathurin, I'm going to say this about Benedict Mathurin, okay? He had a bad game against Philly. 2 games before that were decent. Even against the Bucks, okay? Ben Mathurin, before the game even started, told Rick Carlisle that he wanted the assignment of Giannis Antetokounmpo, okay? Now, understand, I don't think Benedict Mathurin is an amazing player by any means. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's solid, okay? But he's not a guy that I look at and I go, all right, like, he's going to be an MVP level player one day. Like, I don't look at him and see that. But what I look at him, I see a player that needs to work on his shot off the dribble a little bit. He needs to work on defense. He needs to work on, not trying to do too much. Like, there's certain things about his game that still need to be polished out. But the reason that I have faith in Ben Mathurin is because Ben Mathurin, loves a fucking challenge. Okay, like, that's why I get on Miles Turner's ass so much, is because I'm like, bro, if Miles Turner had the same competitive nature as Benedict Mathurin, he would be fucking phenomenal. I mean, and it sucks because Pacers fans know that. We're like, bro, if he would just stop playing with fucking Legos in the offseason and go put in some real fucking work, like, he would be amazing. But I don't think he cares that much. That's the problem. I don't think he has a passion for the fucking game like everyone seems to think he does. But nevertheless, that's not why we're here. So there was that. I'm like, okay, like, and Jarris Walker, I don't understand this at all. We drafted Jarris Walker for defense, right? That was the big issue, defense, right? Now, either Jarris Walker is in Rick Carlisle's doghouse for whatever reason, or Jarris Walker, like, doesn't understand the plays, or I don't know what it is, but Jarris Walker does not get the type of burn I think he deserves on the defensive end. And the reason I say that is because when we're getting the fucking brakes beaten off of us by 51 points, okay, and shit's getting thick real quick, I expect Jarris Walker to be on the floor in some capacity for fucking defense, okay? I don't care if he doesn't shoot a jump shot at all. Okay, I want him in there to lock somebody down because he's arguably the second best defender on the fucking team. And he doesn't see any minutes. And he's a rookie. Like, it is astonishing to me that a rookie is like the second best defender on our team and Carlisle just won't play him. Like I'd like to see more Ben Shepherd too. Just saying, Ben Shepherd looked promising in the preseason. So, it's just the idea, man. Like, some of the sets that Carlisle is running, I don't understand. Like, Obi Toppin has actually been alright defensively, but our gripe with Obi Toppin is on the offensive end. The problem is, Carlisle doesn't run any sets for Obi Toppin on the offensive side of the ball. Okay, in case you haven't noticed, most of Obi Toppin's points come from cherry picking lobs and running the fast break and catching lobs from Tyrese Halliburton and shooting the occasional three when he gets open. Like, there are no sets run for Obi Toppin, just like there will be no sets run for Jarris Walker when he checks into the game. But when we're getting the shit beat out of us, I expect Jarris Walker to play. And like, you know, it's just like either, like, at least give the rookie some meaningful experience out of it. You know, I don't even care if Carlisle's like, you know what, this is what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to put Jarris Walker out there on Tyrese Maxey. I'm going to put Jarris Walker out there on Giannis Antetokounmpo. And we're going to do it for 5 possessions, okay? And we're just going to see how shit goes. Just throw him to the Wolves, just one time, just to see how it goes. That's what I want. I just want to see an effort made. And it's mind-boggling to me that defense has been the fucking topic of conversation for the past 3 or 4 years with this basketball team, and suddenly because we're scoring 126 points per game, and we're first in the NBA in offense, second in pace, Tyrese Halliburton's leading the league in assists, but because we're like almost dead fucking last on defense, okay, suddenly people don't care because we get buckets, okay? We know how to put the ball in the fucking hole, okay? But the thing is, like, if you don't stop teams from scoring, okay, those aspirations that we have of being a 6 or 7 seeded playoff team, that ain't gonna happen, okay? Now, I will say this, I don't think the defense is gonna suck for the rest of the year. I just don't. I don't think it's going to continue to suck. I just don't. We are too talented. The defense is underperforming. I'm also taking into consideration that the season just started and guys are maybe not as conditioned as they should be coming off of the off season and stuff like that. So I am considering that. But it's just the idea, like, I never in my life thought I would ever see Pacers fans come out and say, yeah, defense doesn't matter. Defense, the offense will take care of it. Like, I have seen more people say that the offense will take care of it than I care to even want to admit. Because everybody now has prisoner of the moment syndrome, where they just seem to think that just because we're scoring a shit ton of points means that the defense doesn't matter now. I mean, we let Giannis score 54, Tyrese Maxey scored 50, and then we lost to the Boston Celtics by 51. I mean, like, yeah, you can put the ball in the fucking hole all you want, but if you don't prevent the other team from doing it, it's null and void. It does not matter. So, I don't know, man. The other thing that's blatantly obvious is that Tyrese Halliburton needs a number 2. And I know that we're, like, waiting on it to be Benedict Mathurin or waiting on it to be Jarris Walker or Miles Turner whenever he decides to do it, if that's a possibility. But I'm officially in the camp of people that are like, you know what? If the Clippers are ditching Paul George at the trade deadline, fuck it. Send them whatever they want. Send them whatever they want for Paul George. Because Paul George, as much as people seem to think he's washed for whatever reason, which is fucking absurd, but he's leading the league right now in steals. Okay? Paul George is leading the league right now in steals. An argument could even be made that at the current point in time in this NBA season, that Paul George is the best defensive player in the league at the current point in time this season. Okay? I'm not saying he's the best defensive player in the league. I'm saying that for this season, for right now, Paul George is the best defensive player in basketball right now at the current point in time. Okay? But obviously, that's going to change throughout the season, but he's also shooting very efficiently from the field, okay? And then people, like, bring up stupid shit, like, oh, well, he hasn't played well the past couple games. So, bro, the Clippers are 0-4 since they traded for James Harden. There's an adaptation period that comes with playing with a guy like James Harden. But people don't understand that, I guess. But it's just the idea, man, like, it's actually pretty funny that we traded Paul George and we got Tyrese Halliburton and we got rid of Sabonis. We still have Miles Turner, and somehow it's come full circle that the type of player we need is Paul George. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild to me that, like, that's where we're at. But I get why fans don't want to trade for Paul George, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, if we could get Paul George, like, we'd be one step closer, and, like, it just, I don't know. My NBA wet dream, I guess, is to have Tyrese Halliburton and Paul George playing together. But all I'm saying is, man, like, if this team does not improve on defense, then those aspirations of even being a play-in team are long gone. And I like I said, I don't think that's going to continue, but the defense does need to figure itself out sometime relatively soon. Right now, the team is playing well. I will say that. Even with that, like right now, Indiana is 6-4, but we could be like 6-1 if we just play defense at a competent level. And I'm not really sure why we're not playing defense that well. So, and specifically against Philadelphia, offensive rebounds are a big issue. Just going to say that. I'm going to throw it out there. Rebounding as a whole has been an issue for this team. So, you know, it's just like, I get it, you can't fix everything, but like, I'm wondering if, like, it's just the idea that, like, I'm wondering if it's fatigue. That's what it is. Like, I don't want to look too much into it, but fans need to understand that if you score 126 points per game but give up 124, we're talking a one basket difference between your offense and defense. One basket. That's not playoff level ball. Okay? That's barely play-in tournament level ball. So, because and that's where it's gonna matter. Like, that's why I'm making the video, is because that's where it matters, man. Like, if you don't play, like, I get that it's the regular season and people don't care about defense during the regular season, but you have to play defense during the regular season to win games. Okay? You have to play defense in the regular season if you want any aspirations of being able to play defense in the playoffs. So, obviously, I don't think people really expect this team to make it out of the first round, but it's just the idea, like, if people want us to be a 6th or 7th seed, then the team needs to start locking down. And I think that's going to change. Like, I really think this team is too talented defensively to continue playing at the way they're playing now. At their, like, just underperforming way below what they're capable of. I just don't think that's going to sustain itself. I feel like when players get better conditioned and, you know, finally understand playing with Bruce Brown and maybe even Jarris Walker and all this other stuff, right? Like, I feel like maybe that will work itself out, but it's just the idea, man, like, it doesn't look good defensively, and the idea that fans preached for years about, oh, well, Miles can't defend centers because he's always picking up people's man, right? And then after, like, literally a year later, people are saying shit like, oh, well, the offense will take care of itself, so the defense doesn't matter, is just the most mind-blowing thing that I have ever seen as a Pacers fan in the past 13 years. Because ever since I became a fan of this team, people have constantly preached, like, two-way players, play defense, lockdown. Like, do people forget that, like, what got us to the Eastern Conference Finals all those years ago now, which feels like it's a decade ago now, but, like, what got us to being one of the best teams in the NBA and getting to the Eastern Conference Finals multiple years in a row was playing fucking defense? Like, I don't know if you guys understand this or not, but just having a good offense, like if you're not at least top 15 in the NBA in defense, like you can be a top 10 offense. If you're not in the top 15 in defense or even top 12, like you're not going to make it past the first or second round. You're just not. The teams that play defense well are the teams that go to the finals. Okay, the teams that play offense and defense well are the ones that go all the way. Okay, that get to the NBA Finals, not just the Eastern Conference Finals or the Western Conference Finals. Those are the teams that go all the way. So when I see people who say things that are like, oh, well, the offense will take care of itself, the defense doesn't matter because of that, I think to myself, in what fucking world do you live in? Like, I'm just going to call it what it is, man. Like, one other thing I just want to bring up here before I close out is I would really like to see this team make an all-in move this year. Obviously, we got Ben Mathurin, we have Jarris Walker, the bench looks solid. There's going to be guys out there on the trade market, probably Zach LaVine, probably DeMar DeRozan, probably even Karl Anthony Towns. I'm assuming Kawhi Leonard and Paul George will, if the Clippers don't fix their record sometime soon. They're 0-4, I think 0-5 after last night. I could be wrong, don't quote me on it, but since trading for James Harden, they have not won a single game, and the Clippers look really bad at the moment. They actually look like a better team with James Harden off the floor. So if all of these teams start selling, I mean, the Toronto Raptors are going to probably be sellers if they're not doing anything significant by the trade deadline. If we could get an OG Anunoby, a Pascal Siakam, something like that, I would like to see an all-in move like that to at least give Tyrese Halliburton some type of help. That's all I'm asking for, is some type of help for Tyrese Halliburton. Okay? Hashtag help for Hallie. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.